street and costing taxpayers thousands of dollars in overtime.
Wrong is wrong, and there's a time to hold people responsible and accountable for that.
In recent months, Tiffany Henyard has gone from being the most notorious mayor to all but vanishing from the map, and the drama only gets more intense. Rumor has it that she has completely gone undercover to hide her identity. But let's face it, how long can she continue to run before them? Let's catch up, and it appears that her chaotic reign is finally ending. To be honest, we're all just enjoying some popcorn while we wait for the next twist. Is she running away, or is she just hiding from the heat? One thing is for sure, Tiffany has a lot of explaining to do, and we're all excitedly awaiting the big reveal because the residents of Dalton have had enough. The Board of Trustees appears to finally be getting the message, as they have chosen to give her a taste of her own medicine. When Tiffany called the town meeting recently, not a single board member bothered to attend since she has made it apparent that she only hears her own side of the story.
Township to pay for, but none of the trustees showed up for this special.
The epitome of shameless tenacity, Tiffany, however, refused to allow the rejection to dampen her spirits. No, she took the stage and transformed it into her own soap opera, asserting that the entire corruption scandal was a massive propaganda campaign intended to discredit her. Oh, how lovely. Take power, this is my statement. If you don't want to hear it, go to the door. It's not a Q&A. It's just my statement so that the people of Thornton Township are aware of what's happening there. The town's residents are obviously tired of Tiffany's tirade, so she cut it short by stating simply, "We already know you're stealing from us." But Tiffany was unfazed and continued speaking as if nothing had happened. That's what all the hate is about. Your super mayor became too powerful too quickly, and as a result, everyone has problems. I'm so rare, I'm so unique. All about control, but let's face it, Tiffany Henyard's issues aren't. It's not just bad PR, there are some extremely dubious expenditures involved. Although she has been embezzling township and Dalton monies while posing as mayor, the community is alarmed. This week, WGN investigators revealed the truth after a legal battle to obtain her credit card data. As ridiculous as those figures are, Henyard and her team spent an incredible $67,000 on taxpayer-funded travel in just 5 months. If you thought that was bad, wait until you hear about what she built at Dalton's house, and the number soars to over $100,000. Her justification was even more ludicrous than that. Moreover, she stated that she and her companion were occupied with attending conferences. It's true that Tiffany spent months pursuing her own diva fantasies. Despite the Illinois Attorney General's Quine ruling, Mayor Tiffany Henyard and her team disregarded the state's openness regulations by playing hide-and-seek with Dalton's expenditure records. Henyard and her supporters resisted the office's intervention and ordered the village to release the documents. But their power struggle came to a head when WG's parent company chose to take matters into their own hands and filed a lawsuit in Cook County Circuit Court. As you might expect, the judge wasn't buying any of Tiffany's games. They made Dalton publish pages and pages of documents that exposed months' worth of credit card statements from July to November 2023. These records showed that Tiffany and her team were living lavishly, paying for first-class travel, staying in upscale hotels, and even going overboard on Uber Eats, all on taxpayer money. Tammy Dalton, trustee Brown, a board member who openly opposes Henyard, disclosed that she had repeatedly asked for copies of the statements but was turned down. When you see things like this, it's like a kick in the gut. Brown claimed that Henyard withheld it from us because we would undoubtedly have inquiries in January after WGN's investigation revealed Henyard's extravagant. The narrative develops a thorough dive into Dalton's credit card transactions, finding that over $67,000 was charged to township credit cards for out-of-town trips in just 5 months of 2023. Discovered $33,900 more in charges for those same jet-setting vacations to locations like New York, Atlanta, beyond Portland during a 5-day rampage in Austin, Texas in July 2023. Henyard, her right-hand man Keith Freeman, and 3 township officials amassed an astounding $220,000 in taxpayer funds. The receipts reveal a huge spending $111,000 on the opulent Fairmont Austin Hotel, $389 at Ruth's Chris on steaks, $53 for sportswear, and $413 at Walgreens. Really, nothing says essential governance like a shopping spree and steak meals on government money. The expenses also included $4,734 at Walmart and Target. At Amazon, Henyard's personal photographer cost $1,425, and local eateries and Uber Eats cost $59. But wait, it gets worse. The village additionally made public documents demonstrating Henyard's extravagant auto leases. Copies of the 3 leases purportedly executed by Henyard showed that the residents paid more than $374. It's safe to assume that, when asked about her lavish spending, Henyard was living like a king or queen on government money. Henyard's answer was, well, what did you expect? Deflected.
Some of those charges are for you.
No, sir.
You didn't go to Las Vegas?
However, with the federal spotlight on Henyard, her former assistant Carmen Kay has come forward as a whistleblower prepared to reveal the truth. Today, I'm breaking my silence and speaking out against Thornton Township Supervisor and Dothan Mayor Tiffany Henyard, who I believe has engaged in. In the village of Dothan, Henyard has been engaging in unethical and predatory behavior for the past 2 years. She has been manipulating employees, vendors, and residents, using her position to increase her influence while presenting a false image of success that was funded by the hardworking taxpayers in Thornton Township. I trusted the administration, and I am standing up for those who have been impacted by what I observe as Henyard's AB's leader. I think that many more victims have not yet come forward to report that Henyard has lied to them or retaliated against them. Carmen disclosed that she came out because she feels Tiffany should be held responsible for her deeds and the hurt she caused. My decision to come forward as a whistleblower is a reflection of my dedication to openness, justice, and responsibility. It's time for us to demand better for our township and unite against those who abuse their power as expected. I urge more victims to come forward and speak out inside the township because we cannot allow this behavior to go unchecked. Carmen Carlisle's newly discovered bravery was ridiculed by Tiffany Henyard during the meeting, who jokingly suggested, "I think I'm going to give you a new nickname, Lion Carlisle. I'm gonna." Tired of everyone here making it a show. It's ironic coming from Henyard, who is essentially a living example of corruption these days. In a desperate attempt to shift the blame, she even attempted to blame Carmen for her financial mismanagement, saying that if she had spoken up sooner, things wouldn't have gotten this bad. After all, you were on this board, and we never discussed this, so you should have been putting this on display. Putting the same enthusiasm into action when you were silent a year ago, or even a few months ago, Henyard's attempt to deflect blame seemed absurd, particularly since she was the one involved in the scandal and still seemed to think she could escape punishment for her actions. Unfortunately for her, that way of thinking will only push her further into difficulty. It seems that Henyard is still living in denial, believing that she may somehow escape consequences. However, the truth is that she is running out of hiding locations as reports about her abduction circulate, and things are rapidly falling apart. Former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot has taken over as the head of the inquiry into Dee's financial crisis. Henyard used to govern the village, but it is currently experiencing a monumental financial crisis that has lasted for more than 3 years. $5 million is allegedly gone as a result of Henyard's misusing village finances. Residents were shocked to hear how bad things had gotten when Lightfoot, who was previously a federal prosecutor, agreed to delve into the murky waters of Dalton's finances. Now that a federal investigator is sniffing around Henyard, shady dealings are sure to come to light during a special village meeting. Outline how we have painstakingly worked under challenging conditions to collect as much information as we can. It wasn't simple, but we have the facts. Her research showed that as of May 31st, 2024, Dalton's general fund was down an astounding $3.65 million. It was evident that Henyard and her administration had disregarded any financial oversights that would have caused the town to fail. In financial turmoil, this federal investigation began when the Dalton Board of Trustees decided to ask for an investigation into Henyard's misconduct. Tiana Belcher added her opinions to the rising sense of urgency and frustration around Henyard's leadership, and 4 of the 6 trustees attended a meeting where they welcomed the resolution's approval. Mishandling of cash, and all we need is some clarification to let us proceed and comprehend the nature of all the spending. Henyard had sold 6 police cars, which is a big problem because when you lose cars, you lose police personnel too. However, Bert Sun, the legislative counsel for the Dalton Board of Trustees, jumped in and pointed out that she continued to pay for her own security detail on top of that fund. Guidelines. We are not necessarily looking to eliminate things, but if you're going to make choices that benefit the administration rather than the people, that's your fault. When that ordinance was passed, Tiffany's administration was thrown into disarray, and her response was predictable. Nothing less than spectacular. Township services came to a complete standstill. They were unable to get basic items for community gatherings, such as ice cream for a senior citizen social or gift cards for Big Bingo Monday. The town had organized an ice cream event in Kump City, but there was no ice cream available. If her circumstances weren't already dire, the current state of affairs could not have made Tiffany's empire appear even more precarious. Tiffany's once loyal ally Ls. Alissi is being charged with grave offenses. The former Dalton deputy police chief who supported her is currently in hot water after receiving a federal indictment. Alissi is charged with a number of offenses, including bankruptcy fraud, perjury, and making false statements. He is also accused of concealing assets and income in order to evade paying creditors and resolving a lawsuit. The situation sounds like a criminal movie, but it is all too true. Federal investigators claim that Alissi went to considerable lengths to hide his finances, including fabricating his income and feigning a separation from his spouse. Henyard was allegedly keeping an eye on him during this entire ordeal. This follows Tiffany's own scandals, which include claims that she used taxpayer money for opulent Las Vegas vacations and weaponized police raids.
And a close ally of Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard to be indicted on federal bankruptcy fraud. And the lawyer tonight for Deputy Chief Louis Lacey tells me saw part of the prosecution.
The whole I'm a victim story doesn't work when you're this deeply involved in your own disaster. Despite Lacey's lawyer's apparent attempts to portray it as a complex scheme to destroy Henyard, insisting that his client is innocent, Lacey's attorney asserts that the federal government is merely focusing on him in order to establish a case against Henyard. But let's not fool ourselves. If found guilty, Lacey could spend up to 45 years in prison. The news tightens Henyard's once untouchable reign is beginning to resemble a fragile house of cards that is about to collapse, and the indictment against Lacey paints a shocking picture. Instead of learning from his mistakes, he filed for bankruptcy again in 2020, adding gasoline to the fire, following a plaintiff's attempt to execute a settlement agreement that stated Lacey still owed $43,000 of a $5,500 payout. Doesn't stop there. Not only did Lacey twist the facts, he shattered them. He made up stories and concealed important details in his bankruptcy documents, such as lying about being divorced from his wife and denying that she lived with him or paid for his mortgage or income. Meanwhile, indications of Tiffany's. At the annual meeting, ineptitude began to manifest when a 23-year-old South Holland resident urged township leaders to promote civic involvement. He suggested that they take sincere steps like making information clear and easily accessible. You say you want us to be civically active, but you claim to want us to attend these meetings. But based on my first encounter at Thornton Township, it appears like some acts are being made against the interests of the town's residents. Another resident, J.W., answered Tiffany Henyard's remarks regarding the voters' rejection of a mental health referendum that would have increased taxes in Thornton Township. We are not brainwashed. We are tired of hearing that no one has said that mental health isn't important. Perhaps that's why Tiffany didn't want the locals to have a say in her choices because It's not about criticizing you as a black woman. I've always been held responsible for my actions and outcomes, and I expect the same of you. The Henyard's administration has gained notoriety for controversy and the fact that she makes decisions for herself, not the people, and you can be sure the locals weren't holding back. Her legal drama would rival any primetime legal program, from allegations of favoritism and unethical business practices to wrongful termination claims by former employees. The situation is getting hotter. One particularly scandalous lawsuit names Henyard alongside Dothan Village trustee Andrew Holmes. It was filed by a former employee of the Henyard security detail and a Dothan police officer. However, it doesn't stop there. Another legal dispute concerns claims that Dothan officials refused a local barbershop owner a business license in a traditional rural town. Last but not least is the explosive case that Dwayne Thrash, a former maintenance manager in Dothan, brought. According to Thrash, in 2012, one of Henyard's close associates approached him with a dubious plan to replace the school board's attorney with a firm that Henyard's inner circle preferred. When Thrash declined, as part of the plan, things went south. According to the lawsuit, Thrash was fired suddenly while on a sanctioned vacation on questionable grounds of poor performance and insubordination. Since Henyard was appointed mayor of Dothan and supervisor of Thornton Township, she and her closest. Word on the street is that she may be searching for a way out a back door to disappear into, and with all these lawsuits and the ongoing federal investigation, things are looking grim for Henyard. Freeman and other allies have allegedly fired a number of employees they considered political threats or those who disobeyed their wishes. The thinnest air, since the mayor was the only threat in that room, fans of the village believe that Tiffany has become a serious threat to the community and that her resignation is insufficient. She must be arrested, charged, and punished. If recent events are any indication, Tiffany will have to deal with the consequences of her actions. I'll end today by saying that she is a disgrace to the people of Doom and America and should be imprisoned along with the rest of her administration. If you liked this video, please remember to like and subscribe for more videos like it.